So here is the Bontrager Wavecel helmet, and I got this because, like I was saying earlier, I've had a ton of concussions, probably 20 significant concussions, but closer to 10 where I've literally ended up losing my vision, my ability to speak for a day or two, and I was even in a coma for a few days. This thing seemed like a great option. I wasn't even aware of the MIPS system, which is a system where if you hit something on your helmet, it kind of rotates. So like if you have an impact here and your helmet shifts, your brain doesn't hit and jostle. It kind of, the inside of the helmet slides around so your head doesn't, the concussion isn't as bad. Seems like a great system. I've been out of mountain biking now 4 years. Ironically, I had a concussion almost 4 years to the day up at Mammoth Mountain. Broke a couple vertebrae in my back, both my elbows. And so I'm just getting back into riding because I've gained so much weight, and I've kind of become a grumpy pain in the ass. I just work all the time and commute. So this helmet, which is the whole reason for the video, the good, it seems like it's really high quality, and it does come with 2 liners, which I like very much. So in this bag, this liner actually has a rubber seal that goes right along there, and that is supposed to help prevent sweat. But last night, messing with, I had purchased one of these yesterday. I got a medium, and mainly because it was gray, I was like, oh, I really like the gray, and I'm like, oh, the medium feels fine, knowing I've got like a big ass bucket head, and so the large or even an extra large would be the way to go. Just wanted to show you the actual material itself. It looks pretty cool. You can kind of see it there in the light. It is a bit heavier. They claim it's about 50 grams heavier. There's 554 grams in a pound, so about 1/10 of a pound heavier. It looks like a neat design, but also so does the MIPS system, and this is supposed to work better than the MIPS. So for me, it's just, I have to invest in the best possible helmet I can buy. And I've just started using the new GoPro Hero 7 Black. I've gone with a chest mount, which I love. And so this is what I've normally been riding, but this is a killer feature. So that back part is magnetic. You lift that and you can hear it's really, really a strong magnet. So I was really skeptical of this, and I still may even make a lanyard. I do a lot of fishing, so I could get like some 80-pound Power Pro or something like that, and just make a simple lanyard around this in case you do have a crash or, you know, hit a limb or it vibrates out. The front end really is hard to get out, but this is designed to break away in a crash, not to give you an extra head injury. So you lift up the back end off the magnet and it just comes out that simple. So like if the GoPro is mounted on there right now, you could take it and pan it around, which is pretty neat, because this mount, you know, unscrewing this dial or trying to get a panoramic shot or something can be tricky. So I'm really, really excited about this. If any of you guys get this helmet, I was playing with it last night. It's kind of deceiving. You want to let just the magnet settle it into place, and then this front part, I would just physically click in. If it's not clicked in, it falls out really easy, but it clicks in real nice, and then to take it out, you just lift it like that, and it works like a cam and just takes itself right out. So super simple system. I thought that it would go back in the same way, like you would push it in that way, but I found that you just drop it down to where the magnet lets it kind of seat in place, and then just physically click the front end with your thumb. Works great. So I'm gonna strap it on. It's 101 right now. It's supposed to get up to 104. So these trails, they're a little bit over my level. Like I say, I've had 2 rides in 4 years, so my cardio is dog shit, and I'm gonna be lucky in the 100-degree heat if I can even just get out there and ride. So when I'm out there, I'll try to update you better on the ventilation of this helmet. And also, sorry about rambling on. I'm super new to making YouTube videos, and I just really wanted to get into it. I see so many people sharing their adventures, and I have a real hard time remembering things. So I've already found, I've done a trip to Yosemite and Sequoia and a couple places, and getting to watch the videos back, there's stuff on there I totally forgot about. So if I wouldn't have made the video, I wouldn't have even remembered. And so the videos are a great way for me to document, you know, that kind of stuff. And hopefully as I get more entertaining and more fun to watch, the videos will get better and better. I'm just getting into it now. But all right, so I'll get out there, try on the helmet, and hopefully get some good riding footage for you too. And ironically, this is the helmet that I have been using. So you can see big dinger crack there and crack there. Now I did get a concussion from this wreck, although it wasn't that serious. This is the one at Mammoth. And you can see before that, I just had typical cross-country helmet style that kind of cut across there. So just the day before, this helmet only has one ride on it. I just bought elbow pads, knee pads, and Mammoth was great. We had an incredible time. And you know, a lot of that stuff was over my head. I'm a Florida boy. I've got motocross background and hare scrambles, racing through the woods on dirt bikes, and a lot of racing experience on the East Coast. But the West Coast, you know, it's sharper rocks, bigger drops, looser terrain. But yeah, so just to see, I used this on my ride the other day, but obviously this poor thing did its job. And holy crap, yeah, I didn't even realize how big that one was. And yeah, so it was dumb for me to wear this just on one ride, but I think it's time to retire that one and move on. Oh, and one more thing. I also shave my head. So I normally wear one of these little halo deals to keep the sun off my head, because if not, I get these crazy like alien lines from my vents. And my head already looks like a quail egg, so I don't need to add to the sun damage. I was really stupid as a kid. I'd go out in the sun for 8-10 hours a day, not wear sunblock half the time. And so another experiment for me and other dudes like me is if this helmet will change shape enough to where the sun won't make my head look like a ribbon like that. So I'm gonna try riding it without the halo, this little guy, because these things do add some heat. I like the fact that it has a sweat line. It marginally helps to keep the sweat out of your eyes. But like I say, this guy does come with another headliner. Sorry about the camera work. And this headliner itself has a no sweat thing there that would go on the front of the helmet. So I assume they just pop out and then you change out this liner with this one. So that's a nice feature that they offer you. But for that price tag, the helmet should definitely come with a lot of features. I mean, it still is styrofoam and plastic, but hopefully the technology will prevent concussions in the future. And hopefully I'll ride well enough not to get any. That's not gonna happen. All right. Got super fancy gloves matching my super fancy new bike, used bike. That's pretty lame, but what are you gonna do? This is what happens when you almost are 50. You start matching. Actually, the gloves were on sale and they just happened to match the bike. This will be my first ascent in about 4 years. Like, the ventilation works fantastic is what it feels like. Like I said, when I was climbing, I would take it off and I couldn't feel a difference between the coolness with the helmet on and not having the direct sun on my bald head, and then taking it off. It felt to be the same temperature with it on or off. And so I was pleasantly surprised with the ventilation. It definitely looks like it could interrupt standard ventilation of a helmet, so it probably doesn't ventilate quite as well, but I didn't notice any problems. Like I say, it's 104. I'm completely out of shape. I'm 50 pounds overweight, and I didn't have any problems at all with it climbing. It was very, very comfortable. So I'm gonna stop talking and start riding. Yeah, it feels really great on the downhills. Like I say, I've been out of it too long to really have a good frame of reference, but ventilation's great. It doesn't move on my head at all, not even a little bit. Visor's great length. So far, I'm really impressed. So, final impressions of the Bontrager. The bad, I do think 300 is a bit steep, but I get it. A lot of other helmets are charging 250, 280. So in the scheme of things, if it is as safe as they say it is, I think it's worth it, at least for me. And I've definitely concussionable, see? Definitely, damn, this happens all the time. Susceptible to concussions and concussible to susceptions. But so the comfort, I would give it a out of a 10, I would give the comfort a 10. It almost feels like you're not wearing a helmet. On weight, I would give it a 6, 7. It is a bit heavier than other helmets, but I don't feel it. But I haven't worn a helmet in years. The ventilation is great. I would give that an 8 out of 10, maybe a 9 out of 10. It feels great. Like I said, I wore the helmet and then I took it off, and as I was climbing, and with the direct sun on my bald head, it actually felt warmer with the helmet off. So I've heard the ventilation isn't great in other reviews, so I wanted to test that. For me, it was really good. Like I said, I'd give it an 8 or a 9. And overall, the helmet, I would give it an 8.5 or a 9. I'm really impressed with it. For me, it was a lot of money, the 300 bucks. I just hate spending that on styrofoam and some plastic, but I know R&D and blah, blah, blah. But helmets are popular. I was gonna try to get a gray one, but they didn't have any available until late September. So 60 days out right now. So people are buying them. I would recommend it if you've had concussions. Even if you haven't and you don't mind spending the money, feels like a good helmet. I love the fit. For me, it's the best fitting road or mountain helmet I've ever tried. Very, very, very comfortable, and overall, I would recommend it. I just wish they'd come down on the price about $250. It's not gonna happen. All right, thanks for watching. Oh yeah, and this is my hospital. I hate to replace it. These things are pretty great. Some of the zippers are fouled up from the wreck. You can see it actually ground that clamp in two. My right shoulder took the brunt of the injury, but this thing, it ground the clip off the top right there that's broken in two. And but thank God I was wearing this thing. I mean, this and the knee pads, the elbow pads, you can see this zipper got pretty jacked. But my back has about an 8-inch long scar. That took months to heal, but that's from, oh wow. Oh yeah, no, my whole pump could fall out. Oh shit, I was talking about sewing this thing up because I hate to replace it. Yeah, it definitely needs some sewing because everything that's in that compartment I could lose. Oh, glad I was shooting this video. This is off topic, but that's pretty much about all I do. Oh yeah, zippers over here. But I'm pretty excited to check this little guy out. It's, you know, kind of bulky for a Camelback. I'm not even going to argue with that. But like I say, I used to carry a mini pump about this big. That was about half this weight. This thing is surprisingly lightweight, but it was about, you can get a really good pump that's half this weight. But it takes 4, 5, 6 minutes to air up one of these big 29er tires, especially like a 2.5 or something. So anyway, I used to carry a couple CO2 cartridges with the adapter, and then a mini pump. So I figured, well, this is lighter than that setup of the CO2 and the mini pump, and this I assume will air up this tire. You know, I should do a test on that later. Yeah, I'm just figuring this YouTube stuff out. So thanks for putting up with me rambling on. I definitely don't have any personality yet or comfortable in front of the camera, but working on it, and keep pumping out these videos and keep practicing my editing and stop picking my nose on camera, and try to get some riding instead of talking. That'd be a better video. I'm already bored and I'm the one talking.